Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see you today. My name is Dustin Cormier, and today we are watching How to Rock Astrology. Today in particular, we're going to be talking about what it's like when you have the moon in Libra and Venus in Leo. To be honest with you, this is a difficult combination. And we're going to talk about why. A big part of this is that, like, the 11th house factor is chill. Venus is not being starved by the moon here. But what is happening is that essentially the moon needs to channel itself through Venus because it's in Libra. And the moon is like one house away from Scorpio. And we know that exaltation and debilitation work by proximity, not by sign. So this moon is still close to its debilitation point. So is Venus. Venus is debilitated in Virgo. Not only that, but this Venus is in, really, Leo is among, it's kind of very close to being the worst place for Venus. In some ways, it gets damaged even more than Venus in Virgo does, in some ways. The reason is because at least Venus in Virgo, it's debilitated, but it's in the sign of a friend, which is Mercury. With Venus being in the sign of Leo, Venus is starved by its enemy, the sun. And this does not bode well for the moon because the moon is trying to channel its security through its relationships, through the service that it provides to its partner. And obviously, with the Venus being debilitated in this way by being in Leo, which is one of its worst sign positions, this moon is also going to suffer in the relationship that it's trying to build security through. So, we're going to break this down in a very clandestine way. Before we do, we are going to, I should say, don't worry, I'm going to give some clues. No matter what you're given in astrology, it's like having a crappy job in life. And you're there, you just got to do it, you got to get through it. And if you meditate and if you're mindful enough, you'll get through that thing that you had to go through at that time without too much scuffage, or just, it's whatever, it's the reality. You got to deal with it. Your karma is the same way. If this is your karma, get through it, abide with loving compassion for yourself and for your partner. And as time goes on, you'll A, get used to how to deal with this thing, and B, be consoled in the fact that this incarnation is one incarnation among the many lines of lives that you're going to be living in your soul's career. Funny little existential thought there, but I digress. Now, before we talk about Libra moon with Venus in Leo, I'd like to do a little, excuse me, this is an introduction that I've been doing in each of these videos. It's talking about the symbolism of the sun, the moon, and Venus, and what they are. So, if the sun is the king, if you've watched my Sun and Mars series, you'll notice that I always called the sun the king. It's our outgoing will. Now, if the sun is the king, our innermost nature, then the moon is the queen, which is the arbiter of what the sun can actually realistically do on Earth. Remember, in one of my videos, I said that the moon floats around the Earth. So the moon has to cater to what's given in our material reality. The moon is a crescent sliver of our sun's inner nature. It's our earthly subconscious whose the moon's sign, house, and aspects reveal the form that our sun energy must subside through. So think of this as like the classic archetype of the husband and wife inside of all of us. Regardless of what your gender is, everybody has an anima and an animus. It's the yin and the yang of the Ajna chakra. So there's a husband inside of all of us. It's our sun. It's our king. Now, the king is what he is. And he is refined by his wife, who gives a rhythm and a healthy, realistic ceiling, a healthy, realistic personality through which the sun's nature can be conveyed on Earth. That is, at least when the moon is working properly. There will be a realistic limit into who you are, into who you want to be, and who you want to associate with, so that your associations are meaningful. What do we mean by this? So imagine that the husband has got his arms rolls back and he looks at his wife and he says, you know what, honey? You know what I'm craving right now? I'm feeling like having a nice big piece of blueberry pie. And the wife looks at him and says, but honey, you know what that does to your blood sugar. Now, the king, the husband, can listen to that, or it can just do what it wants. It doesn't have to listen to that. But if it doesn't listen to that obvious need as a natural part of its body that its wife is telling him, then he's going to suffer. He's going to have diabetic shock, and he will not be catering to the nature of the body that he's been given by his moon sign. In the same way, our moon is the same way for us. When the moon is working properly, then that means that we have a sense of what we want to do and who we want to be surrounding the sun, which is essentially what we want to do. Without the moon, the person doesn't really know what they actually want in life and who they really are. So if we, think of it this way. If we didn't need to eat, if we didn't need to sleep, have sex, and enjoy subjective moments of bliss in our lives, and, then we could infinitely express the sun. The sun is like the afternoon energy. It's like what we do mid-afternoon. It's what we're for. But after the day has passed, it's 6 or 7 p.m., we want to retire. We come home to our family and to the people who exist around us, who we feel most comfortable with, and our partner. And our partner will reflect a certain part of the personality that we are at home. It's the night vibe, the lunar vibe. Who are we when we're done working and we're at home chilling, not trying to be anything, right? So if we didn't need to eat, sleep, have sex, etc., then we could infinitely employ our sun, but that's not the case. We do need to eat, we do need to sleep, and have sex to a relative degree. This is part of the rhythmic, realistic, limited persona that we are on Earth. So essentially, don't step on the keyboard. Oh, I love these cats, but they're always getting in my way. If anybody wants to get into our personal quarters, the personal quarters of the king, they must do so through the queen. That is the moon. Venus is the sun's self-enjoyment style. Venus is how we express affection. It's the sun's outgoing desire. But whatever that Venus attracts is bound to be subject to the subconscious reaction complex of the moon. So, let's talk a little bit about how this relates to our particular sign combination today. I just got 2 new kittens in there. A joy. Let's call them a joy. They really are, but gosh, they can be a handful. Today, as I said, we're talking about Libra moon with Venus in Leo. And this means that Venus is in the moon's 11th house. Now, by being in the 11th house, this really shows that the real enjoyment that Libra takes in life, the real goals and the attainment of what Libra is a certain centrifugal expression of the self in social situations and in the social situation of your relationship with your partner. The 11th house relates to goals and achievements and objectives in that way. So Leo, being the natural 11th house from Libra, shows that our self-contained, energetic, constant stream of affection and attention from us to our partner and vice versa, this real deep, dedicated romanticness is really... Oh, don't step on the keyboard. That's really what what the Leo Venus is looking for. And it's really what the moon in Libra is looking for, too. So this person's Venus is catered to getting enjoyment from what moon in Libra is and what moon in Libra does. Now, this is, of course, this is a great thing because there's great enjoyment available to this person when they are pushing themselves to apply this mode of enjoyment and this mode of affection and expression between themselves and their lover that they kind of seek and that they are. Now, there's no angles to the moon and Venus here, so it's not, the moon isn't going to be hurting this Venus. What's going to be hurting this Venus is the sun. The 11th house factor shows that what you will be deeply trying to enjoy and desire to experience and express is the full attention of your partner and really of those around you as well. The moon in Libra is looking to be served by what it can do and how it can engage with the people around it and with your partner. Think about the moon in Libra. The moon in Libra is really a social person who is romantic. The moon in Libra seeks to develop on its security by being receptive and reciprocal to its partners and to its partnerships. The moon in Libra wants to build its own security by being needed by the partner for specific things in a useful, practical way, but really the moon in Libra just wants to be enjoyed, wants to actually be counted on, and to also count on the partner, because there's a reflectiveness there. You also want your partner to be a little bit receptive, so that when you put in the time and effort to write down, your lover's name with a little heart, with a little note on their coffee in the morning, and you put it there before they go to work, and their whole meal is kind of laid out there in that sort of way. The moon in Libra wants your partner to appreciate it and to say, oh, darling, when you did that for me, nobody else would do that for me but you. You are just so lovely. And for your partner to acknowledge that is something that would give you a feeling of security, of enjoyment, of like you are romantic to this person and they are also romantic to you. A deep joy that moon in Libra gets is when the partner shows that they have been listening and they want to give us sophisticated gesture of a gift or of some kind of joy or some kind of attention and affection. Venus is about affection, so the moon in Libra wants to see that the partner has thought deeply about how they're going to express affection to you. This is just a natural thing that moon in Libra does. And unfortunately, moon in Libra really is a little bit debilitated in a way. It's not technically, but as I said, debilitation and exaltation work by proximity. So this moon in Libra is one sign away from moon in Scorpio. And what this means is that the moon in Libra is, no matter what, it's going to have a little bit of a kind of like an insecurity that can happen here. You might feel emotionally insecure that your partner actually desires you and wants to be with you. This is especially so because you are trying to gain security, moon in Libra, through your relationships. That's the Libra factor, but the Venus is tied up in Leo and damaging itself by that excessive, there's an egotism that's excessive with Venus in Leo, and that's what ultimately damages what the moon in Libra is trying to build. Essentially, as you try, being the moon in Libra person, you're probably somebody who is extreme about, moon in Libra seems nice, and they are. If you have no afflictions to your moon, then, and if your moon is supported, let's say it's supported by Jupiter or it's supported by its friend, the sun, it's getting an angle from the sun or something like that. That means the moon will be delighted by one of its friends, or the great benefic Jupiter. Jupiter's not a friend to the moon, it's neutral, but it's the great benefic. So having an aspect from Jupiter or its friend the sun or Mercury will make this moon have emotional enjoyment outside of the partnership so that they're not going to push the partner's buttons to make the partner exercise the needs, the ego needs of this Venus in Leo with moon in Libra. Moon in Libra wants to serve. It wants to be respected and admired for its ability to know exactly what the other partner is and to feel like they're the best partner for the other person. And the moon in Libra will almost push the agenda because they might feel a little bit insecure, where they are pushing the partner to have like a date night, a nice date night where we can kind of chill and not do anything too fancy. Although the Venus in Leo here is extravagant about it. And it will even be testy and fiery. Kind of like this is the kind of person who will push the partner unconsciously and subliminally to have a bigger and better time, because you want that security of knowing that you did that for your partner. So it's like, something as simple as buying bigger and bigger gifts all the time to one up yourself. In order to, again, secure yourself as the moon in Libra, you want to buy your partner a gift, and let's say you take them to the movies or something like that. Then the next time you go and you buy them like an item that's like a $30 item as opposed to the $20 movie ticket. And you keep buying something bigger, and you'll, wink at your partner and be like, like, look at, I got you something really, really, really nice. And I hope that you appreciate it because it took me a long time to get the money, and I put in all this time and effort into it. And when you hit that mark, you can be a wonderful lover in this way because you're looking to be a big flash of enjoyment of some sort, of this subjective dimension of reality. The problem with this, in Vedic astrology, the 11th house is actually considered an evil house. The reason is because the desire for the heights of attaining the desires that we seek becomes overblown, because that is the spot where those desires are hidden. So this Venus is in the spot where the moon in Libra's desires are hidden, and the evilness of the 11th house nature cause us to draw out more enjoyment than is actually realistically, fundamentally possible and really, truly peaceful and pacifying. You will either seek to play so hard in life with your partner, through your partner, that you exhaust each other, or what'll probably more likely happen is that this, you'll probably want to feel like you need to be the center of your partner's world. That's the Venus in Leo. And you want to be good in that role. You want your partner to think that you are just the best thing in the world, that you're the best partner in the world, and that you keep on upping yourself in this relationship so that the partner says, God, where's the roof on this person? They just keep on impressing me. And the sun must cast some shade in order for it to be bright in a rhythmic way. And if you constantly just keep trying to be bright, you're going to be sad when you don't make your own mark. Meanwhile, your partner is like, honey, like, the past month has given me enough enjoyment for the next year. You don't need to try so hard to secure things and to feel like you are deeply enjoying yourself and that I'm deeply enjoying you so much. Your partner might tell you this kind of thing. And ultimately, when your partner says something like this, you get deeply fucked up about it. Because your moon is in Libra. You're trying to secure your emotions through being receptive to what your partner wants. But instead of asking your partner, you might ask your partner, like, what do you want for Christmas? And you'll get an idea of what they want in the ephemeral, superficial sense. But the rhythm of their desire for gifts and their desire for affection is something that you do not instinctively take account for. And you should. The moon in Libra in you causes you, you probably think more about the instinctive compulsion to secure your emotions than you do about actually practically applying yourself to a constant lifestyle of affection towards your partner that is actually practically emotionally workable for them. Your own emotional insecurity makes you act on instinct and blindly because you enjoy it. So it's okay. I hope you accept this about me. It's just me. This is, don't feel too bad. This is just a gift that I'm giving you here. We don't need to feel like I'm going to keep one-upping you all the time. Here's just this thing that I just wanted to do for you. And the partner's like, okay, I'll take it at that level. And then you go out and you buy another thing. And you're doing it for your own joy, which is cute and beautiful. But if your need for that joy is causing the service and the, you don't want it to ruin what your essential goal is, which is to be a good partner for your partner. If you want to be a good partner for your partner, you have to account for the emotional compulsive nature of your desire to shower them with affection because you want to be this important center of their universe. Remember, the sun's the center of our galaxy. So the Venus wants to be the center of someone's sentimental galaxy. And your partner will need to show this, but again, you will always be left starved for it. You'll always be left feeling like you're not doing enough. As your in my temporary role as your YouTube astrologer, I would commend you to meditate. Grasp your own emotional insecurities. Go to therapy. Find out whatever it is going on in your moon and your parents that have caused you to not feel like you are emotionally safe with your partner. If you can understand your own moon and develop emotional safety and good, read psychology books about relationships that actually develop things related to the moon, then you can enjoy being your beautiful, hot wife or, wonderfully protective, noble husband to your partner in a way that is good and is useful and is giving you that satisfaction that you want, because you are looking to get the most out of that moon in Libra's knowledge of the other person. Moon in Libra wants to deeply know the other person and anticipate their likes and wants. Your Venus in Leo can deeply get the most richness of this, being in the 11th house from that moon in Libra position. It can deeply get the most richness from this, but you have to understand that it's never going to be at 100% what your mark is that you're trying to get. It'll never be enough at some level, but no relationship will ever be enough. Don't think that your relationship is instinctively the problem. What might be the problem is that you are over-anticipating how much joy you can force out of this interaction between you and your partner. So meditate, get a handle of what would be a safe and stable security paradigm of giving affection to your partner. Get couples counseling, whatever you need to do. And then once you find an objective, systematic way that everybody agrees around you is a healthy way to express your affection, then do it. And do it hard, because that's part of why we enjoy you. That's part of why your partner enjoys you, is because you do play hard and love hard. Just don't do it so hard that it becomes more of a task than an actual joy in your partner's life, right? Think about how you could do it actually for your partner, not just for your emotional compulsion of desiring security. Because if you do it from that place, your partner's going to smell it, and they're going to feel like you're doing it for you more than you're doing it for them. And that's going to ruin the seed intention from the beginning, which is that you're a moon in Libra and that you want to be a good partner for your partner, right? Laid that out pretty good, I'd say, if I might smile at my own work. So that was just me sort of giving my own sort of spiel on this combination. Now let's survey what happens when we have, for now we're going to talk about the moon in Libra, and I'm going to add my own spice of the Venus in Leo. Essentially, for moon in Libra, this is coming from Erotic Astrology by Phyllis Vega. The moon in Libra's approach to lovemaking is glamorous and alluring, even more so with that Venus in Leo. Everything about the glamour and about the aesthetic refinement that moon in Libra applies, Venus in Leo takes it to like an excessive level, decidedly. Which again, you have to find out how to do that in a way so that it's not all excessive all the time, because then it becomes a need to be excessive, and then the excessiveness can't be enjoyed as much. It's like, alcohol is a nice thing once in a while, but if it's excessive, you become an alcoholic, and it becomes this gross dimension of your life, right? So you, being a moon in Libra person, you appreciate the intricate rituals of old-fashioned courtship. You enjoy being wooed with finesse and sophistication. And this will be especially, you got to be careful with the Venus in Leo. What can happen is that you can see that your partner like took in the time to go to the movies. You know, let's say you go to the movies, like I said, this is the flip of what I was saying earlier, where your partner takes you out to the movies. It's a $20 ticket and it's nice, you know. It's simple, a nice little night. Then the next time you go on a date night, you go to a restaurant and it's like $30 for $40 for the meal between the two of you, and you've launched it up. And so the Venus and Leo in you, the moon in Libra with Venus and Leo, will say, whoa, look at that. This is $40. All right, this is even more. This is even more than the last gift you gave. Wow, look at this, honey. This is so amazing, you know. God, keep it up. Keep up this ramp it up. And then the partner's like, okay, so I guess that the $20 movie thing wasn't quite up to par then. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that you're not too exciting about how much you rev up those positive, good romantic moments. But ultimately, this is part of who you are. You want your partner. The excess is less important, really, than the gesture that your partner was actually thinking about you. It's less important that they thought of a restaurant that's like a lot of money or whatever. The moon in Libra is essentially romantic. It'd be more romantic for you if, you know, depending on who you are, if you're a nerdy person or something like that, you might enjoy that your partner took you to like Palladium or a place with arcade games and stuff like that, or a comic book store, because that has something to do with you. You know, it's more important that your buddy, that your lover could have hung out with his buddies on Friday night, but instead he said, no, I'm taking tonight. You and I haven't gone out on a date for a long time, and I want tonight to be just about you and I. This is what gets the moon in Libra heart pumping. So, sex and romance are intertwined in the moon in Libra person's mind. You likely prefer artful seduction to a carnal free-for-all. Although, again, the Venus in Libra can just rock and roll for the sake of rocking and rolling. But ultimately, the moon in Libra will feel bitter about too much physical affection and physical sex and sexual enjoyment if there's not an emotional closure first. That is something that you should really think about if you're experiencing that. Ultimately, this is the person, the moon in Libra, loves to see the dribble of rose petals upstairs to the bedroom with the bottle of champagne in the bath, ready to go. A special night dedicated to love in a romantic setting with moonlight and whispered words of affection and adoration. These serve as a genuine turn-on, and affectionate gestures and loving words. These draw out your passions and get your sexual juices flowing. This is the arena that needs to be laid out in order for you to rev up the heights of your Venus and Leo. Which, of course, would add a little bit more flair, a little bit of a real... There's a real presentation typically when it comes to sexuality for the Venus and Leo person, where it can be kind of wild and raunchy and rock and roll. You even like to be kind of a little bit raunchy, which, or, you know, willingly raunchy. Playing on the dimension of raunchiness is something that you like to do, and to bring it in a way so you don't look too crass or brass, because moon in Libra is not really, they're kind of a Puritan person. They're kind of like very sensitive, and they don't like too much loud noise or too much craziness. The Venus and Leo in you can be a bit more chill and rock and roll and big bombastic energy and adventurous and these sorts of things, but it likely will be that Venus and Leo enjoyment that lots of people enjoy in Venus and Leo. The moon in Libra will pull it back a little bit so that it's not quite so heavily out there in that way. It's not quite so bombastic as it is romantic. As long as there's romantic sentiment, the moon in Libra is happier. So now we're going to read again from Erotic Astrology. We just read really about moon in Libra. Now we're going to actually read what this author has given for the combination of moon in Libra and Venus in Leo in a horoscope. The romantic, idealistic individuals with this combination expect so much from an intimate relationship that the reality rarely lives up to the dream. As I've said, it's the Venus and Leo is desiring to be the center of the person's world and for that person to be the center of their world. And it's a little bit too hot. The Venus is too hot for its own good by being in Leo. So you might feel that your intimate relationships often don't live up to the dream, but you probably, at the same time, you probably won't feel fulfilled without someone special to share your life. This is the moon in Libra. The moon in Libra is reflective. It needs an other in order to be secure. Libra, other people. It needs an other in order to feel secure and to feel like it's living a meaningful existence. You want to share time with your lover, and you want to share a lot of time with your lover. Again, it's the excessiveness of the Venus in Leo. When Venus is healthy, remember, it's the numerology of Venus is 6. It is just enough time spent with each other that it's perfectly enjoyable, while always keeping in mind that famous rule, which is that absence makes the heart fonder. If you spend all your time with your partner, then there's not going to be, it's like Alan Watts says, it's the rests between the notes of music that make each note beautiful. If we listened to a musical piece and it was all just constant notes all the time, it wouldn't be music. It's the rests between that make the notes meaningful. And this is something you have to consider when you have Venus in Leo with Moon in Libra. You are generous with your love and affection. You shower your partner with loving words and gestures. In bed and out, you crave constant attention, romance, appreciation, and love. And you do crave it. And you'll get it again as long as you accept the night of your day, right? If you get what you want, there's no more passionate and considerate lover than you. It's true. Sociable and outgoing yourself. You need a significant other who also enjoys going places, meeting people, and doing all kinds of interesting things to keep it fun and enjoyable, and to go out and see lots of people so that you can admire each other and display the love that you have for each other. This can be the kind of person who's sentimental and gooey and will do public displays of affection, and people will go, oh God, blah, too much. And you're like, oh, I know, I know, but we're still, blah, blah. That's Moon in Libra with Venus in Leo. So ultimately, you're not that damned here. There are some things that you need to consider with regards to the moon's security and the excessiveness of this Venus in Leo. But if these are well supported, and even if they're not, if you get on top of this energy signature, what'll happen is that you will be one of the most capable and entertaining lovers who fill your and your partner's life with fun, sentimental enjoyment and subjective fulfillment. And it's a wonderful partner to have, so long as everything is all kept in check. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm Dustin Cormier for How to Rock Astrology. Let me know in the comments what you'd think. I'd love to see if I'm on the right track with this. Ultimately, every comment is appreciated with something like a YouTube channel like mine. Keep your eyes on the skies, folks. Keep watching. Well, if you keep watching my show, I'm going to have more stuff coming out, so feel free to be a part of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.